All right, there we are. Uh, hello. We're gonna see how well this works because last night you saw how tired I was. Today it's hopefully gonna be better, but hello and welcome to Right Rights. This is the Friday edition. Happy Friday, by the way. Congratulations, you made it another week, and I am so glad that you are all here. As I say to an audience of single digits. My name is Jax Wolff. I am a fantasy writer, but on Thursdays and Fridays, and sometimes other nights, I am also your comforting voice, lonely writers out there. If you've never been to Night Rights, it is very simple, very straightforward. All you have to do is sit back and relax and listen to the hum of a beat that you might be hearing beneath my voice. I have no idea what you're hearing, actually. I have heard that music has been too loud, what have you, but hopefully it's not. Yeah, we are off to a great start. But anyway, you sit back, you relax, you enjoy the sweet beats, but occasionally there will be chatter in the chat room. You'll see that chat room right next to this little video window. You can post whatever you'd like in it, so long as it doesn't violate TOS. So chat amongst yourselves or chat to me. If you chat to me, I will read your responses aloud and respond to them. Every night we also have an icebreaker of the night, which we address within the first 20 minutes of a stream usually. These icebreakers are designed to help you get into the mood of chatting and hanging out with us. Usually they are writing, sometimes they are not. Tonight's, it's a little bit of a convoluted question, so bear with me. The base level question is, what are your MC's favorite autumnal festival? This is a low-key question to ask about world building, and not just world building, but also your characters, of course. But for those of you who are writing in the real world, or worlds based on the real world, this question is simple and straightforward. Are they a Halloween person? Are they a Thanksgiving person? Are they another kind of person entirely? Let us know in the chat room. If you've created your own world, however, let us hear about those fun autumnal festivals. The more creative, the better. But, you know, if you have a fantasy Halloween, or I don't know, fairy Halloween, elf Halloween, what have you, please do tell in the chat room. Currently, I don't know if there's anybody in. It is still fairly early. I could cover the rest of the stream, shouldn't I? So the first 20 minutes are usually icebreaker. First 30 minutes altogether, including the 20 minutes that we usually hang out and chatter about the icebreaker, we usually talk about whatever, catch up with each other and settle in, introduce ourselves if anybody's new, or talk about our projects, talk about how our day went, that kind of fun stuff. At the end of the 30 minutes, we begin the first of 3 writing sprints. If you've never done a writing sprint, it is also fairly simple. You have a set time to write. For me, it's always going to be 20 minutes, so there will be 20-minute bursts, during which you are supposed to be writing or editing or doing whatever you feel like doing, so long as you're productive for those full 20 minutes. At the end of the 20 minutes, we will break for a short period of time. My breaks tend to be 15 minutes. They're usually longer because we get off into chatter. But during the first couple of minutes, we talk about how much progress that we've made in that last burst of activity. For writers, that's pretty simple. It's how many words you wrote those 20 minutes. If you're editing, I like to consider it also a word count of sorts. Basically, if you're reading over 4 paragraphs, count every single word in those 4 paragraphs, even if you didn't technically edit them. It's just simpler, but do whatever you feel is right for you. If you feel like that's not fair, I want to count the number of words that I've actually edited, feel free to do that, or just give us like a nebulous idea. If you're not writing or editing at all, then basically just talk about your productivity. Then we all applaud each other and then launch into a little bit of chatter just to give ourselves time to breathe and sort of relax our brains before diving into the next period. And we do that for 3 cycles of 20-minute periods of productivity. That all having been said, we do have somebody in chat at least, or at least one viewer right now. Feel free to drop into chat. Like I said, chat is open, so feel free to chatter. Otherwise, I am going to kind of like hang out and ramble about myself for the first 30 minutes. For my own icebreaker, ooh, hello Lena Ket, welcome. And Companion Wolf. The YouTube studio stats are lying to me because it says that we only have 1 viewer, but hello to the both of you, welcome. Companion Wolf says, sorry, I was setting up my rice. That is all important. That's also really good lazy meal right there. Like, not lazy as a negative, but sometimes you just only have energy for one thing, and that is the blessing of having rice cooker, or just like being able to cook rice in general. It's the kind of thing that you can just set, leave alone, let it do its thing, and you can come back to foods. But hopefully that's all set up for you. How are the both of you? And hello, Shelly Riley. I do believe you're a new face, aren't you? Welcome, welcome. Hopefully, you got some of that spiel, but feel free to ask, or I can give you the Cliff Notes version right now. Feel free to introduce yourself as well. Basically, Night Rights is a very chill writing session hangout. We we chat with each other in the chat. I respond to things that happen in the chat, read off your things out loud. You can also chat amongst yourselves. Usually I'll leave the chatter that's between you guys to alone for you guys. But otherwise, we do have an icebreaker of the night that is a question of the day, basically. And today's, just to kind of like launch back into it, it's what are your MC's favorite autumnal festival? So if you're writing a story based on the real world, that's pretty easy. Are they a Halloween person, Thanksgiving person, some other kind of person? Was their favorite fall holiday? If you're writing in any other kind of world, what are the holidays that your MCs would celebrate, and which ones are their favorites? Other than that, the only other thing that you need to know is that we also do writing sprints starting around 8:30ish. They're 20-minute writing sprints with 15 minutes between each one to just sort of rest, relax, chatter, give you time to get up and do what you need to do, or just kind of like vibe. Companion Wolf says, rice will become rice soup. I put soup on it. Oh, that is an excellent idea, honestly. I usually do like the other way around. I make soup and then throw rice into it, and then I have little balls of rice. And also, either way, it is a hearty meal for a nice cold day. They also say, I am okay, sleepy, understandable. Same here, to be honest with you. I got rest last night, but it's not enough, never enough. But yeah, hello to Shelly Riley. Hopefully everything that I said about the stream and whatnot made sense, but feel free to ask questions. But yeah. So currently 8:11. I hope all of you are doing a-okay. I've heard from Companion Wolf, but feel free to pop in your how your day has been going, a little bit about what you're planning on working on tonight, all that kind of thing. Otherwise, if nobody stops me, I will answer the icebreaker of the night. So that somebody does. But I also kind of do want to hear Companion Wolves because I'm really interested to hear what the holidays they celebrate in Placeball Land. But for my work in progress. I am writing in my own fantasy world. So there are 3 autumnal festivals. Ooh, Lena Kid says, I just got off work, so my brain is still unwinding. Haha. Totally understandable. Hopefully work wasn't too rough on you for a Friday. But for sure, take as much time to recharge as necessary. Hopefully you'll be able to jump into writing with us later on in the stream. If not, yeah, it's Friday night. You should be allowed to just sort of rest and relax. But yeah, quite honestly, it's been an interesting Friday so far in my land. I know that I started answering the icebreaker, but I'm just going to be like chilling out unless people absolutely want to hear about dragon holidays. But hells yeah, here we go. Companion Wolf says, that's a good question. In my Blazeball canon, it's very much a mirror to ours, where the splort and such is an outside entity encroaching. That's where a lot of the horror comes in for me. Okay, so they do celebrate Thanksgiving there. But also, it occurs to me that Blazeball wouldn't be played in the middle of, like, I mean, if it's a mirror to baseball, granted, disclaimer, I haven't actually kept up too hardcore with canon. Like, I read the first couple of games, I think, and I understand the concept, and I've kind of like browsed the wiki here and there, but it's like, it's almost like trying to get into Homestuck, except less linear. So you're reading a wiki and you're like, holy shit, there's a lot here, and it's dense and very convoluted, and shenanigans are happening. But yeah. But anyway, if they're mirroring baseball, then the closing of their season would be October, wouldn't it? Companion says a season is 99 days in immaterial plane time is faster than our world material plane. Oh, so it probably isn't even played in the middle of autumn. The only reason why I'm talking about this is because, like, football is the Thanksgiving sport and the fall sport, isn't it? So it's sort of like, I kind of wonder if there's like an equivalent of football in Blazeball land, or if Blazeball is just played year round and they just don't. And I know you just said 99 days, but like, in a plane where time moves faster, that's really difficult to wrap my head around. Also, I don't want to skip Leoncat, so very quick. Leoncat says the only fun festival I've had so far in my fantasy world was the Remembrance Festival that the group stumbled into. That was this big dance party kind of thing. That's actually kind of cool, though, like a huge F dance party. But I am a little bit concerned about why it's called the Remembrance Festival. Like, especially in the fantasy world, that can mean many bad things as well as good. Many very sad things. But I do appreciate the fact that there is a big dance party. Shelley Riley says, my MC is definitely a huge Halloween fan, but the book takes place in the summer, playing a Halloween party, seeing it with a follow-up. Also very cool. Halloween parties are super fun, but also don't let the time frame stop you. If Gravity Falls has taught us anything, you can totally celebrate Halloween in the summer. I'm kidding. I fully support the Halloween party idea. Companion Wolf says, I think Unisky Blackburn likes Halloween. They seem like they'd vibe with the spooky chaos. Key Persona enjoys Sukkot. Oh, hells yes. Also, I just decided he's Jewish. I fully support this. Like, granted, Sukkot has always been really interesting to me just because, like, I don't know, Kinmu loved it because you got to set up you got to set up like a shack in front of the synagogue, and you got to have meals outdoors, and you got to mess around with a plant with a nut lemon and a palm frond, and it was fun. Um, though I have to admit, growing up, it's not as fun as Purim, but I still enjoy the fun times that are Sukkot. So, in other words, Key Persona has excellent, excellent taste. Um, I guess I should answer it, shouldn't I? Yeah, in my world, like, there are three autumnal festivals. There's, because there are 12 gods and each god gets their own holiday. So there's autumn is basically the season dedicated to the earth magic and earth gods. So it's all three of the gods that govern terrestrial magic. That's Ordnir, who's the god of the earth and of the harvest. There's Alfin, the god of the wood and of art and performance, and Iona, the goddess of medicine and of love magic. Iona's holiday is kind of like a solemn remembrance day. It's usually to honor the dead, and it's not really like Halloween. It's kind of like just a solemn day where you dutifully tend to the needy, tend to the graves, that kind of thing. Go and worship, go to your house of worship and do service over there. But so only really the really devout religious people like Iona's holiday. Eleanor is more of a Feast of Alphen fangirl because the Feast of Alphen is more like Halloween. You have a bunch of it. The idea is that you're dressing up, you're celebrating, making it through another year, but you're also honoring the god of art. So you're dressing up in costumes, you're handing out candy, you're eating candy and sweets, you're going to plays that might be performed in town, and you're just having a good time. It's basically literally fantasy Purim, but in autumn. So that's her favorite. And the Feast of Ordnir is Mick's favorite for a couple of reasons. His family are devout Ordnir worshippers, so that's like his family's holiday essentially. But it's also like a day where you come together with your community and you celebrate the harvest or the upcoming harvest. You take part or you partake in the first fruits of the harvest. So there's a lot of cooking, there's a lot of eating involved, there's a lot of meal sharing, and basically towns will have entire feasts set up that for like the working class and the middle class, and everybody comes together and just has a merry old time just sharing meals together. But more importantly, that is the day that he met Eleanor. So of course it's going to be his favorite holiday. But so that's my answer for so basically Feast of Ordnir is their September holiday. So Nick's favorite holiday is basically Thanksgiving in September. Then Alphonse is October, so Eleanor literally likes Halloween. And then you have November with Iona. So there you go. I am not creative enough to come up with my own months. They are not actually called those months, but whatever. That is all the world building that you've got right there. Long story short, those are their favorite holidays, at least in autumn. We'll get into actual favorite holidays later. Though, spoiler alert, Mix is still going to be the Feast of Ordnir for all of the reasons I just said. It's food and Eleanor, and that's all you need to make him happy. Back to the chat, though. Let's see. Companion Wolf says, what's interesting is Blazeball is a world with real gods you can even kill, although in my post-canon, the current gods are young and new. So, like, what does it mean to be Jewish in that world? Honestly, in my personal view, it's sort of like I feel like it would be easier to be Jewish in that world because the entire point of Judaism is that you're constantly questioning God, right? So, and constantly like questioning the way God works. And sure, there is a literal commandment that says there's only one God, essentially. But at the same time, it's sort of like one of the most interesting things about Jewish history is that if you go far enough back, you'll learn that there is a reason why that commandment exists. We weren't always monotheistic, in other words. So I kind of feel like Judaism is very fluid in the way gods work. So if you have gods that can be questioned and can be killed, philosophically speaking, that's like extremely Jewish. Because then, yeah, absolutely, you do have that question in universe of what does it mean to be Jewish and what does it mean to be a moral person if your God is fallible and finite, you know? So that's really fun and really interesting. And I'm sure that if you're Jewish in that world, you are just ultra Jewish. I love it. Jax Wolff also says, in the actual game canon, there were a few Jewish players, but I don't know if anyone ever explored that angle with fic. I'm sighing because I know how fandom works, and the answer is very likely no. I hate to cast doubt on it, but Judaism is not something that's often explored in fanfiction. Like, to the point where I've never actually read a Jewish fanfic or a fanfic centered around Jewish themes, despite knowing a lot of devout Jewish fanfic writers. And it's a shame. Like, the most Jewish guy that I know used to write fanfiction about Greek mythology and Greek history, and it's like, I don't know. I kind of feel like even us Jews don't know how to approach the idea of writing Judaism in fan fiction, and it's a shame, really. And I don't know. But like, you know, you have like even outside of baseball, like I'm thinking of so many Jewish characters, and not a single one of those canon universes that I'm thinking of, I have never read a Jewish fanfic. Leah says, "Ooh, remembrance there was remembrance there was for those who passed, but a celebration of life." That there's a more somber one in another region around the same time. I love the idea of just having a big dance party to celebrate life and to celebrate those who came before you. It lines up so much with the different cultures outside of like the American idea, not American, but also like, you know, American European idea of death. Like, so many different cultures celebrate life, and it, to me, that kind of feels so much, it's a very much comforting because like then it makes it the idea of approaching death a lot easier, and the idea, and you're more inclined to embrace your ancestors instead of just like, ooh, spooky ghost, the dead are scary, that kind of thing. You know, it makes you less afraid of thinking about death and what comes after. So I am adoring the idea of like this huge ass dance party. Just because like I'm just imagining how colorful that might be for that kind of culture, and how joyful that culture is, and it really is a beautiful thing. Companion Wolf says Fantasy Purim, absolutely. Like, get drunk, have wild, or put on wild plays about surviving and outwitting people who want to kill you and killing them right back, and just have the wildest time in the name of your god, essentially. I love Purim so much, so of course there's a fantasy Purim. Companion Wolf also says, "Oh, I wrote some Jewish XCOM 2 fic. Have you ever posted it? Because if you have, I need to find links to those." I am not, you know that I'm not super into XCOM 2. Like I barely, I mean, I do read your fanfic anyway, and that is my point. So I will have no idea what's going on. I never do, but I am like, hell yeah, I'm still here for this. So please send me the Jewish XCOM 2 fic. I will be very confused, but also very delighted that it exists. I need to branch out for sure. Yeah, like I need to branch out. Basically, like for a long, long time, I had only one fandom. Then I left that fandom, and I'm kind of sort of experiencing other stuff now, but it's like all the stuff that other people are claim as hyperfixations. I'm like, I am so happy for you. I have no idea what you're talking about, but I need to get to catch up on that. Companion Wolf says, yeah, it's on Tumblr, but I can find and link it. I have the Hanukkah one, and I think I finished the Purim one and the one with alien hybrids. All of those sound delightful, but I really want to see the Purim one because that's my favorite holiday. 100% hands. I mean, I've already mentioned that at least once in this chat, but I kind of need to reiterate the fact that that's my favorite holiday. Lena Cut says exactly. It's one of the independent regions that hasn't been conquered to. I can read so well. Lena Cut says exactly. It's one of the independent regions that hasn't been conquered. So a lot of those who passed fought for them to remain themselves and independent. And I am here for that too. The fact that they haven't been conquered is also a delay because, like, hell yeah, fighting back against your conquerors and some imperial force and being able to preserve your stuff, it's like absolute fantastic anti-imperialism, and I'm here for it. But anyway, yeah, there might be link in chat. There is link. Okay, so it's a Google Doc. I will have to check that out I'll have to check that out after the stream. Speaking of though, we are currently at 8:30, so I think now is a good time to dive into our very first sprint. So Companion Wolf, I know that Lena Cat, you've just finished work, so I'm not sure if you're going to be joining us for this one or just sort of hanging out. Companion Wolf, will you be working on anything? Companion Wolf is currently feeding me Jewish goodness, so I will not bother them directly. But if anybody else would like to talk about their projects in the next couple of minutes, feel free. But if you are going to be working on something, whip it right out. We will be starting in less than a minute. So just take a deep breath, let it out slowly. Companion Wolf says, yeah, I'm going to try to work on doing the writing part for journaling solo TTR. Oh, right. You were working on that last night. How far did you get with it, by the way? Like, I know that we were kind of, sort of, right, because you had left early. And hey, what's up, Rhinos? You're just in time. Gonna try to join in the writing. Excellent. You are just in time. We will be starting very shortly. But I'm not going to continue stalling, I swear. So, Companion Wolf's working on TTRPG, which they will be submitting for a contest fairly soon. I am hoping that we can help them out with some of that productivity, getting it as close to ready for that contest as possible. Last night was the shotgun scenario development. I got a little of that done, like answer 2 of 6 questions I was using to generate ideas. Okay, so you're working on something different tonight. Okay. Something different, but still TTRPG. I assume anyway, by the way that you phrased that. But that is totally okay then. In that case, I hope you have fun with TTRPG development. Reynos, feel free to talk a little bit about where you are with your project. It's been a while since, I do believe it's been a while since we've seen you. Wasn't it like last week? Other than that, everybody get ready. Just like flex your fingers a little bit because you will be doing a lot of tappy taps in just a moment. Take a deep breath. Let it out very slowly. Just rest your mind, rest your body, clear your thoughts of all distraction. Think hard about what you want to do. Reina says, yeah, last week I'm working on an original novel for the Nano equivalent. Started the inciting incident. Ooh, oh, congratulations! You finally got to the inciting incident, so that's cool. So that's exciting. Now that you've reminded me, if I recall correctly, you were just getting started on like one of the first couple of chapters. So that is a lot of progress so far, which means that AI friendship should be just around the corner, I'm sure. But in any case, it is 8:35, so on your marks, writers, get set, good luck, and go. All right, and that is our first of 3 sprints. Let's see. How did you guys do? As for me, here we go. 268, which isn't super duper bad. Could have been better, but for some reason it's been hard focusing. Like I said, I just really do need a break, but break will not be coming for some time. Sad to say. But in the meantime, how did everybody else do? How is your progress? How is your Friday night? As for mine, like I said, it's been crazy busy lately. Just in general, like, we've talked a little bit about how last weekend I was basically out. Both days I didn't really give myself a rest. And then this week, and tomorrow in fact, is a huge event for work. So it's I'm calling it an early night after the stream, sad to say. But let's see. Manual says 611. Damn, that is some good progress right there. I think that might be the most we've had in a sprint so far. I want to say. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that is actually. So that is really good, Companion Wolf. So excellent job. Reno says 105 since 105 words since I'm unfortunately messing around with inverse technology. That is totally a-okay. And yes, Ingress fun. But yeah, the world building bits can get a little bit time consuming to hammer out, so I understand that completely. I do hope that you'll be able to push on through your research or whatever technology, inverse technology messing around would be for you. Shelley Riley says 111 words would have been more, but got some annoying news right at the start. Oh, ouch, bad timing. And I'm also sorry to hear that you got an annoying news. I hope it's not super duper bad and it's just the kind that you can deal with, but you'd rather not want to. If it is bad, like, take whatever time that you need to process it and do what you need to do. If it's just the annoying kind, I really hope that whatever triggered it gets a little bit better for you. But also still, that is really good progress for one hell of a distraction right there. So we have an 11 and a half minutes for a break. I don't know, like, usually we'll have, like, something to talk about at this point. Something to drive me onto a tangent, but it's been kind of quiet. Like I said, it's work. Tomorrow is going to be a hell of a day. I am starting work at 8 a.m. and going to be on and off until maybe 7 p.m. It's overtime, so I can't complain too much, but it's still not like resting. At the very least, it's not like balls to the wall. Every second of every single moment has to be devoted to work, like my days usually are. So there's that. But suffice to say, on Sunday, my plan is basically going to the Starbucks. That's about an 18-minute walk from my apartment by the Hudson River. Getting myself a pumpkin spice latte because I'm that kind of bitch, or like taking it No, wait a minute. It is probably chestnut praline latte season, isn't it? I know it's like... I know Starbucks is bad. Everything's bad these days, to be honest with you. So that's basically my option. It's that or sampling a cafe, which only has an hour of work time that it will let you. I don't know, maybe I will go around and try out some cafes in the local area. But either way, it's like my idea of what I'm doing this weekend is just going and getting some coffee and chilling the entire day. If anyone says my rice, I forgot. I mean, to be fair, well, it has been an hour since you put it on, so it is kind of like been cooking there. Hopefully it's not like, hopefully it's in a rice cooker, because if so, then no harm, no foul. It's probably been cooking in there, but it's got that little warm setting. It's keeping your rice nice and fluffy, I'm sure. But if it's in a pot, I am so sorry. You I hope that your rice is salvageable. Also, thank you for the good luck with work. Shelly Riley says, nothing too bad, picking someone up at the airport tonight and their flight got delayed. Oh, ouch. Delayed 3 hours. So generally just annoying. I mean, 3 hours. That is rough. I mean, waiting around 3 hours in an airport, at least there's food. You don't really have to go anywhere because you can't go anywhere. Hopefully they don't have any connections that they need to make. But also it just be like that sometimes, huh? Just like you go off and I don't even know where I'm going with that. Main point is, like, it do be like that sometimes, and that is annoying, and I'm sorry that your companion is stuck in an airport for 3 hours. Uh, at the very least, may it only be 3 hours and not like, oh, oops, we need to delay it even further. Which, yeah. Let's see. Reno says, I love pumpkin spice latte too. My local Starbucks has switched to Christmas flavors. Yeah, I'm looking at the app right now. It looks like mine has as well. I love pumpkin spice, but my favorite, honestly, is their chestnut praline latte and those little cranberry bars. Like, it's so much more sugar and so terrible for you, but it just tastes so good. Like, those are holiday right there. Those are Thanksgiving right there, and I'm really looking forward to picking up something. Like, just chilling out with treat and coffee and writing. But it's either go down to the Starbucks, hang out right on the benches near the Hudson River, or going around and trying out some cafes. There's one really good one about 10 minutes from my apartment. But the downside is they only let you sit there for 1 hour on weekends. And it's like 1 hour is not enough time to get anything done. But maybe if I do like 1 hour and then I try a different cafe, you know what I mean? So we'll see. Just like have fun. I know that I'm kind of like watching my budget too. So I don't know if I'll actually do that. But like coffees at least are cheap. So buy a coffee, you sit down, do a little bit of writing. We'll see. Companion Wolf says, yeah, rice cooker. In other words, you do it correctly. So excellent. And therefore, I hope you enjoy rice, because most likely, I hope it's a good rice cooker too. But most likely, you know, most rice cookers, as long as you don't get a fucking Black & Decker. Like, I used Black & Decker rice cookers for years, and I didn't realize how shitty they were. until I got until my ex bought me another new one, and I realized that your rice isn't supposed to burn to the bottom of your pot. But in any case, Daniel says, "Is pumpkin spice latte good? I tried the pumpkin cold brew and it didn't even taste like pumpkin." Uh, Pumpkin spice lattes are good. And no, they're not supposed to really taste like pumpkin. They're actually supposed to taste like the spices that go into pumpkin pie. So you get like nutmeg, you get your cinnamon, you get maybe a little bit of a dash of allspice, but it's not like you're getting pumpkin pie. You know what I mean? So a walk into pumpkin spice latte world with that thought in mind. But generally speaking, pumpkin spice lattes are good. The OG with Starbucks is usually pretty consistently good. But, you know, if you go to like a mom and pop that tries to do a knockoff, it can be hit or miss, depending on how good the cafe is. Companion Wolf says it's a pretty cheap rice cooker, but it works okay. That's all you need it to do. So long as it doesn't burn your rice to the bottom of the pot, we're good. But yeah, honestly, I'm just looking forward to Sunday to be frank with you. I have not written in by hand in a journal in a while. Or at least I haven't really gone hardcore into it. And I feel like that would be a good idea to get into. Like, I've been just hardcore running around for 2 weeks straight. Like, I have not been able to sit down and let myself relax and let myself write for a while, even if I had my book with me. Like, I always carry my journal in my purse with a pack of pens. I was not kidding when I said that on Blue Sky. But lately it's been like, okay, I'm bringing it here. I'm intending on writing while I eat my breakfast or my bagel and coffee or something like that. But I also have to go to this other place. And then and then I'd just be focused on that. And I wouldn't be able to write. Or it'd be crowded and I wouldn't be able to write. So it's been kind of like hard to find time to sit down and write. And honestly, I write so much better if I do it by hand first and then transcribe. So I think it's an excuse, I know, but it's like it's been hard lately. Clearly it's like the main issue is I've been running around and trying to do all the things all at once. I've not really given myself time to breathe. So that's really what has been interrupting my productivity with the rewrites. But, you know, really, it's just that I need a break. I haven't taken a real break in ages. Like, ever since really moving in, I've been working on things. I've been going through it emotionally. I've been just working at this job with no vacation. And it's gotten rougher because I used to have emotional support, and all of a sudden, just abruptly, that emotional support was gone. And I keep on talking about this, but I've also been kind of thinking about it again lately. And I guess it's because it's still newish wounds. But part of me kind of like wants him to walk through the door and apologize and say that we'll work on it, but another, like everything else and everybody else is saying that's not gonna happen, you just gotta move on. But it is hard, and I hate to be depression posting / talking about that in the middle of stream, but I just really do need a break, and I need to think very seriously also because a lot of people have been telling me take a break, go take a vacation, stuff like that, but we'll see. Uh, Leocat says, I use a small pressure cooker for my rice and it's great. Pressure cookers are also a good idea. Like, I like the idea of having an appliance that pulls multiple duties all at once, you know, because like you can use pressure cookers for all kinds of things. Technically, you can use rice cookers for all kinds of things too, but like pressure cookers can do things like make chili, and I'm like, I want to make chili. I want to do all those kinds of fun things. Um, but so yeah, I wholeheartedly approve of using a pressure cooker to cook rice, and I wholeheartedly approve of pressure cookers in general. It also says, I miss handwriting journaling. I used to do it so much I fell out of it. I have fountain pens and stuff even. I also fully encourage getting back into it. It is very meditative. You divorce yourself from distractions. You plant yourself in a seat and you dedicate yourself to just you and your writing for however long that you want. Uh, it's honestly how I get so much right. Like most of the Nameless Song was handwritten and then transcribed. Uh, but that's how I managed to get so many words because I would just take my book and I would not be able to do, like, I'd have my phone and sometimes I would take breaks on the phone, but I was less encouraged to like pop into another window or something like that. I was like, okay, I need to write until my hand hurts and then I can take a break. And there's something so satisfying about getting a lot of writing done by hand. Like you're feeling it physically, along with the fact that it's no distractions. And you're feeling it in terms of your hand aches with that pleasure of it doing so much. Like, and you can feel the pages go from smooth to all the contours of your work, and you feel so much more accomplished, even if you just write a few pages. But also, it's so much easier to write a few pages. Companion Wolf says, if you do not break, the break will decide for you. Nod. Agreed. Yeah. And I am definitely kind of like a workaholic in the sense that I don't know how to take breaks, so I have definitely worked my ass off. To give you an idea, I went from 2019 all the way, or technically 2020, because there was that period where nobody worked. I went from that period all the way to like 2022, like early 2022. No breaks, no vacation whatsoever. Like hardcore. If I wasn't doing my job, I was writing, I was running communities, I was looking for other jobs, I was just doing all kinds of things all at once. And I didn't even really want to take a vacation. I felt like I didn't super duper need it. And even then, that vacation was like a writing retreat, but it was like that's how long I can go. And I've gone for longer too. Like, I have definitely gone for years without taking vacations and just working my ass off, nose to the grindstone. I'm that kind of person. But right now, it does kind of feel like at some point, you know, you juggle so many different things and including like stuff emotionally, and you kind of just like, you need to take a breather. But we'll see. Like, Thanksgiving is coming up fast. I don't know if my parents would be up for letting me crash at their place for a few days, or if I want to do it in December when I have a little bit more time planning. I just feel like taking some vacation time and just going somewhere and taking a couple of notebooks with me and just writing. But we'll see. Jax Wolff says, I tried to make pasta in rice cooker and it worked mostly. Yeah, I've done that too. Like, what I used to do when I had limited space when I first moved to New York is I would cook most of my stuff in a rice cooker. So it's just like, it doesn't taste as good as making it in a pot, but you can totally shove like spaghetti, bit of water, your pasta sauce, and your meats, whatever, vegetables, and throw it all into a rice cooker and cook it up, and you have a one pot meal, and it was great. But like I said, it doesn't taste as good as just doing it in a pot because the noodles are very prone to overcooking. But yeah, one thing that I want to try, I've tried making pancakes in those thick Japanese pancakes in a rice cooker. Don't do that. It did not work out all that well. Another thing that I'd like to try though is actual cakes and breads. Every rice cooker comes with like a little recipe book, so there are recipes for that, and I've just been too chicken shit to do it. But someday. Anyway, it is currently 9:17, which means that we should be gearing up for our second sprint of the night. So, once again, take a deep breath, shake it out. I'm going to pause for just a minute or so just to get all the distraction out on my end, and we'll see where we go from there. Meaning we'll probably start at 9:20 on maybe a little bit earlier to keep myself from running off into a tangent. All right. It is 9:19. So bounce back onto your ducks, my good writers. Shake out those wrists, crack those knuckles, take a deep breath, and let it out slowly. Clear your mind and prepare thyselves for that second sprint. All right. And I wish you the best of luck on sprint number 2. And here we go. Good luck. Alright, that is sprint number 2. How did we do? As for me, 244 words, but, you know, getting there. But what about your progress? God, I am right now craving like a brownie. I have a 1 minute homemade microwave brownie recipe, but I should not make it. First off, because even more sugar today, and second off, I have to wake up at 7:50 tomorrow morning. I should not be putting more sugar into my body. Lena Cat says 204. That is excellent progress. That is a nice little chunk, especially since, you know, you're diving back in after work. I know that you wrote a little bit in the first one, but, you know, you're back in the swing of things. Shelly Riley says 223. Also excellent. Very good progress. And Companion Wolf says 526. And goddamn, you are really chugging along. I applaud that effort. But yeah, good job all around, guys. This is, this is shaping up to be a very productive Friday for everybody involved, to be honest with you. Like, sure, it might not seem like 200 words is a lot, but it is a lot of excellent progress. Oh, and we also have an update from Reynos. That is 130 words, which is also excellent. I hope that you have gotten past the technological shenanigans and are now getting into the meat of things. But if not, totally take your time. All in all, you know, excellent progress all around for Friday. Reynos says, yikes, that it's too early for a company event. Yeah, basically think of it like this. It is a convention for doctors. So it starts early and it ends late. Luckily, it's not like a full weekend thing. I don't think... That's a lie. We did one full weekend thing that I know of. Normally our stuff is like maybe a Saturday, maybe a Sunday, very rarely Sunday actually, but mostly during the week, and it's doable. But this is like a big event, and it is all day Saturday. But I have to wake up early in order to prep for stuff, though I'm not sure how much prep I will actually be doing. Most of the stuff is basically done. All I need to do is like do a little bit of web work in order to make sure that people get information where they need information, that kind of fun stuff, and then watch my computer. So I will get moments where I'd be able to take little cat naps here and there, and in fact, because it's overtime, they're kind of encouraging me to do so. But also because it's a medical company and you don't fucking run your workers into the ground, medically speaking. But I will be able to take breaks here and there, copiously, until maybe the evening, afternoon, whenever things wrap up, whenever my job gets a lot more complicated. But yeah, it's going to be a full thing. It's going to be work, and I'm just thinking, at the very least, you know, I can't even say it's chill. It's usually pretty hectic. But it's one day, and then afterwards I'll be able to sleep, and I'll be able to stay up as long as I need to and get more writing done or hang out with cool people online, and then use all of Sunday to rest and recuperate. And maybe I'll take another mental health day on Monday. We'll see. But yeah, this upcoming week is also going to be pretty interesting. I have an appointment on Tuesday that I have to take care of. and I'm a little bit nervous about it. It's a very important appointment. I'm fine. It's just, something that I've been working on for a while. But that's Tuesday, then Wednesday's meeting, and it's like usually at the week after a major event, there's not too much going on, so mercifully there's that. But other than that, it's like I get just a blip of rest and then nothing until the weekend after. But at the very least, like there's also Thanksgiving week, wrapping up at 3 o'clock on Wednesday and having that nice 4-day weekend to just rest and chill. And honestly, I don't know, I might just stick around at home, because I haven't really had time to sit and rest in my own place for at all. So it'd be nice to do that. And then I'll take vacation in December and go off and see my family and hop on a train maybe, and travel. But as a side note, I do actually highly recommend train travel. Like, I know you'll hear people go like, they'll be like, oh, we must have train travel, but actually I don't actually like traveling because I'm just going to talk endlessly about how other countries are better than us and stuff like that. Like, there are reasons why it's... I won't get into politics, but I do think that sometimes people online talk about pipe dreams and don't really apply reality to them. But when it comes to trains, at the very least, it is actually a relaxing thing to do. It is very environmentally friendly, but mostly take a train because it's a portable way to travel, and you will get there it takes far longer to travel anywhere by train, and I think that's kind of like something that not too many people really calculate. Like, planes still need to exist, because first off, planes facilitate global travel and trade, and those are things that we still rely on as a society, that with people from all over the world in it. But also, people, I feel like, people who have lived in this country for years and years don't understand how fucking big it is. Like, it is 3,000 miles across. Like, that is an absurd amount of distance, and not too many people can wrap their heads around it. Even if you had high-speed rail, the reason why high-speed rail works in a country like Japan is because it's condensed. The infrastructure is already there, yes, but also, like, it makes sense to be able to travel, like, a couple of hours from one city to the next. But you can't do that. Here, like, you can't travel from New York to LA in only a couple of hours. That will take quite some time. But that is also the thing about trains. Like, you're not intending on getting to your destination in a timely manner. You are expecting and wanting to spend hours in a train and watching the scenery go by and relaxing and understanding that you're not getting to your destination, that it's going to be a day or more to get to where you need to, unless it's like you're on the Acela. It's like 4 hours from New York to Boston, which hilariously enough is about the same amount of time that it takes for a bus to go from New York to Boston. But hey, but trains are a little more expensive than buses, but they're a little bit more spacious, a little bit cleaner. You're not elbow to elbow with the person next to you. So it's a lot more relaxing. And I'm rambling, I know, but it's like, If I go to see my parents, I will probably go via train for that entire reason. Like, it's added vacation time, essentially. It takes a day to get from New York to where my parents are. Like, solid day. Mostly because it takes 8 hours to travel from Philadelphia, the connection Philadelphia, to where I need to go. And Philadelphia itself. That is the only downside to that entire trip, because Philadelphia's train station sucks. But anyway, point is, if you're going to travel anywhere, highly recommend just chilling out on a train for a while. Unless you actually absolutely 100% need to get there and it's more about the destination than the journey, then, we shouldn't demonize air travel. Go and take your plane. But also, planes can be so fucking stressful, Like getting to the airport, getting through the airport, sitting in a metal tube, thousands of feet in the air for hours on end, next to strangers in cramped little seats. It's something that I'll do. I'm not afraid of air travel. I've been doing it for literally longer than I can remember. Because my family is all over the country. My family growing up was bi-coastal, but I also had family in the Philippines. So like every 10 years, I'd go and see them. Which is why I stand by the idea that air travel is a necessity in the modern era. Stop fucking demonizing it. But it's not like something that I look forward to doing. Like, when I travel by air, it's definitely the destination is more important than the fucking travel. And honestly, if I could just take a train everywhere, I would, because yeah, it's like a little trip in itself, and then you get another trip at the end as a treat. Companion Wolf says, I was estimating my total word count for the journaling TTRPG I'm working on right now to be 2,800. Am only 1/4 of the way into entry 1 of 27, and already 1,000 overall. Could end up being 20,000 now. Jesus Christ. That is still really good. Also, Companion Wolf says, air travel my beloathed. Yeah, honestly, I don't like air travel at all. Like, I begrudgingly admit that it is a necessity, but it is so unpleasant and stressful, and 9 times out of 10, even if I'm fucking masked up, I always somehow get sick immediately after flying in a plane. Even while if I'm masked up. I don't understand. But it's like, at the very least, it's there. It lets you travel further than you could have otherwise. And it lets you get to places faster than you would have otherwise. And it's opened up so many possibilities. So, like, I will never be like, we need to replace all of the air travel with trains. If anything, I think that we should I agree that we should definitely like cut down the amount of highway space for trains. But even then, like, I understand that highways are also necessities because of the way that our country works right now. Like, we can talk about making our little self-sufficient farms all we want, but then the moment that it comes time for you to set up a garden, it you know you realize how much space you need for a garden, and how much time and effort you need for a garden, and how much you need other things besides what you grow in your garden. Like, not everybody can turn to that life, especially nowadays, like with the way our cities are laid out and the way we live our lives, you know what I mean? Um, in order to achieve that kind of utopia where we're all kind of like European in our nature and we have train travel everywhere, but we also have cities, but we also have locally grown stuff. Like we have to essentially gut the United States and rebuild it from the ground up. And I know that's like one of those situations where you're like, oh, you almost got it, you're almost there. But no, the problem is not just systems, but also logistics of that. And that is something that people really need to understand. There are logistics that make that a little bit difficult. Lena Cat says starting a garden would be ridiculously expensive. Even seeds are $3 to $4 a pack. Yes. And you need space for it. And not a lot of people have space for it. Like, you think you might have space for it, but you don't have space for it. Like, and this goes especially if you live in a city. There are community gardens, but the places where you can have community gardens aren't exactly abundant. So, like, and you're expecting to sustain tons of people on that. So you kind of like, you have to have a solution that allows you to put it this way. Let me just like put it this way. Like, New York City is home to 10 million people. Like, that's 10 million people who don't have the space to grow their own food or and they don't have the money to go and buy locally, things like that. So the logistics come in when you start to ask yourself, how are you going to feed 10 million people without commercial farming? And it's a question with an answer, but it's an answer that's not going to come as quickly as some people think that it would be able to come. Lena Ket says it's also skill. 100%. Like, you would think that growing plants is easy. Like, oh yeah, it just needs water and light, right? No. A lot of plants are extremely finicky, and that goes especially for edible plants. Like, some of them are very hardy and they'll grow no matter what you do to them. Like mints like that. Strawberries, I do believe, are like that, but the berries themselves are hit or miss. Basil is definitely like that, but then you have things like rosemary, where it might grow and boom in population, but the second it gets like the wrong kind of light, it's dead. A lot of food is actually more like that. You need to know what a plant needs, like, and be very precise. And sometimes it's just like, it comes down to the idea. Sometimes it's like, no matter what you do, it's going to die anyway because you don't have the right water for it or something like that, So it's hard. And I feel like the people who say that we can have this utopia now, where it's a solar punk utopia now, don't fully understand what goes into supporting a society. They often don't ask what you're going to do in order to sustain like urban populations, especially who people who might have lived in cities all their lives and might not have those kinds of skills, or might not have access to the tools and space necessary for that sort of thing. You don't ask yourself what's going to happen to like the 10 million people in New York City, you know what I mean? And of course there's always the uncomfortable question of what happens if you're disabled. Like, it takes a lot of work to be self-sufficient, and I'd hate to come off that way, but like, when people dream of these solar punk utopias, they kind of offhandedly say, and they'll be playing with accessibility, but they don't really talk about you know, what it's like to live like that, because it's always uncomfortable to me, because like a lot of these solar punk daydreams come off as we're going to go back to before commercial farming, which was 1950 and stuff like that, and it's like a leftist version of the trad wife kind of thing. And in the same sense, like, you're kind of like saying, yeah, sure, there will be plenty of ways that will take care of everybody, but you don't actually have that plan, because you're only idealizing like this Miyazaki flavored version of the before times. And you're forgetting that the before times weren't kind, and that it takes time, effort, skill, and knowledge to build up systems that prevent it from being full on before times. But yeah, that is my rant for the day. That is the political rant for the day. Like, be revolutionary, but also be grounded in fucking reality. You know what I mean? Because like, when you start talking about shaming people and down with this very specific system, it's like, sure, we all want the world to change, but think critically about what you want to get rid of, and ask yourself if anybody's relying on it before being like, we should definitely get rid of it. Like, just have a plan in place for replacing that shit before you start going off about how everything needs to be ripped out and revolutionized, you know? But anyway, that is my rant. That is all I'll say. Companion Wolf says, is revolutionary to exist when you are everything they hate and want to kill? It's okay if you can't do more right now or ever. Yeah, basically. But mostly, like, try it if you can, but don't be mean to you, basically. Reyna says, gotta drop off to cook for the family, though I agree with all of the farming solar punk stuff. Thanks for all the writing. Totally A-okay. I will catch you later. To make a long story short about the next writing session, it will probably be on Thursday, because important thing happening on Tuesday in the afternoon, but I'm going to use Tuesday to recharge. So I hope I hope you can come on Tuesday, but if not, totally A-okay. But in the meantime, enjoy your day. Have fun cooking. I hope it's delicious. Take care and have a good week. Reynos, it was good seeing you, and thank you for coming. And basically, to go back to Companion Wolf, 100% it's revolutionary to exist, but I was more talking about how leftists, as much as I am myself a leftist, some chronically online leftists like to talk about utopias and ideals, but the main thing is, like, they don't really plan too well in their utopias and ideals. So they're like, I hate the world now. I'm not going to do anything about it, but I'm going to talk endlessly about how we should just jump right to this utopia ideal. But I'm not going to think about how to get there, and I'm not going to think about what would happen if we tried to jump there now. It's like, it's almost like they have one set vision, and it's a little bit uncomfortable because oftentimes, even when they're like, oh yeah, it's fully accessible, it's only kind of like half-heartedly, as an afterthought, we thought about people who might not be able to farm or contribute to our ideal communist society in the ways that we define. Like, whenever you hear about these ideal communist societies, it's sort of like, oh, everybody's doing a little bit of work, but it's sort of like, what if you can't? Like, the problem with, like, these self-sufficient ideas, these ideas of self-sufficient utopias, wherein it's all Miyazaki, and everybody is like pitching in to give back in terms of farming. You know, you have your farmers, you have your crafters, you have your barter systems and stuff like that. Everybody has value in work still. So it's sort of like, what are the systems in place to help those who can't work, you know, or who don't have the skills that are considered valuable in this utopia society? But also, it's kind of like going back to all of the talk about like airline travel and how it's evil and it should never happen, or how it's so shitty that we're so reliant on cars. And like, yeah, sure, it's bad that we're relying on cars, but the reason why we're relying on cars is because our entire system is set up that way. So unless it's going to be difficult and slow, but like, don't be like, how dare you not take a bus? Like, some people can't take buses. They don't, like, public transportation is 9 times out of 10 an absolute shit show in this country. But and with airline travel, like, you can go ahead and like shame the people with private planes 100%. Like, rich people are the main people you should be talking about whenever it comes to climate change and emissions and shit like that. Like, there's no reason why Taylor Swift needs to fly everywhere in a tiny little dinky plane. And yes, I am going to shame Taylor Swift for this, but like, commercial airlines, like they literally call them Airbuses because they are Greyhounds that fly. They're necessities, like, either because we get our goods imported and we export goods in order to get everything we need for all of our comfort stuff, like everything short of food, basically, and even food sometimes. Or, you know, because we're a global society, air travel is the safest way to get from wherever you're from to wherever you want to be. Like, oh, do you have family in the global south? You take a plane to go see them. Do you have family in Asia? You take a plane to go see them. Do you want to leave Asia and come to the United States for some reason? You take a plane. Like, what is there as a replacement to that? And I've seen some wild takes about air travel specifically, being like, you shouldn't trust air travel, and it's such a shit industry, and yada yada yada. But it's like, it's always by somebody who's American and has it not either doesn't know people who are from out of the country, or do, but are too dumb to understand how they got to the country. But the point is, like, there are systems, and there are systems in place that are vital for people, and transportation is one example, but it's like all down the line. And one important thing for a revolution that people need to keep in mind is that, yes, it's good to have an ideal and a goal to work towards, but you also need to periodically ask yourself, is anybody relying on the system to live, or to to function in some capacity? Is that an oppressed population who's also relying on the system? If the answer is yes, then you need to have a plan in place in order to work towards building something that's better, or improving the structures already in place. You can't just rip out the structure and be like, here's this entirely different structure, good luck, because, like, that's not how that works. People will die if you do that. Or if they're not going to die, unless dramatic. Although that is also like another use for air travel. I will just say that, medical reasons. But anyway, the point is, like, if they're not going to die, then it's like you're severely restricting what they're able to do. And sometimes that answer of, or that question of what are they able to do is like something important, you know what I mean? Companion Wolf says air travel is a lot, but it's not evil. Yes, basically. Can like the air travel industries be improved? Hell yeah. Like I will be the first to say that whatever Boeing's got going on is definitely pure evil. But that is because it's capitalist, and share and profits are more important than actual human lives, and that can be improved. But the general concept of an airplane and having airplanes be available is not evil. Stop doing that. Anyway. Are we ready for the final sprint of the night? Before I get more political and continue ranting about chronically online leftists, I will say that I am so much happier after leaving Tumblr, though, because that's where most of the stupid ass takes I've seen, that's where they were. Like, even more so than Twitter, which is saying something. But on Blue Sky, it's very political too, but it's like a mature kind of politics. You have the sense that everybody there has seen shit and is very tired, whereas in Tumblr, it's sort of like you kind of feel like you're at the kids' table talking about politics, you know, with people who don't really fully know what the world is outside of fandom. Yeah. Companion Wolf says Hellsite is still full of bad takes if you want to know. I am not surprised. I was on Tumblr from 2013 to to this past year. And I have seen everything from the Onceler bullshit all the way up to now. I have seen lived through the first Trump campaign and era way back in the day. I've lived through the late Obama years on Tumblr. I've even seen like everybody get up in arms about everything that Joe Biden has done. I've seen all kinds of politics on that website. And reading comprehension was just as bad when Obama was in office as it is now, and I feel like that's never actually going to change. If anything, it's gotten worse. But Companion Wolf says block, none of Tumblrina is free from my button. Yeah. But yeah, I feel like it's gotten worse because like everybody wants to be angry about something. That's the in thing, which is really terrible to say out loud, but that is it. With Tumblr-esque crowds, TikTok too, it is trendy to be angry at everything. And to basically launch into reactionary takes without critically thinking about what those takes are saying. Which is why it got very exhausting towards the end of my tenure on Tumblr, because everybody was low-key anti-Semitic. Like, there was definitely a full-on month last year where I was like, alright, we're opening Tumblr. How long will it take before I see a neo-Nazi dog whistle? And the answer would be usually within 20 minutes. Companion Wolf says, and feels righteous and good. Yeah, basically. Anger is easy and feels righteous and good. Yeah, basically. But yeah, back to those dog whistles. Yeah, that's really it. Because, like, you have all these people who are like, yeah, I feel great. I'm fighting the good fight. I'm defending minorities, and it's like a straight up Jews control the media trope, verbatim from somebody who on a different post would have called, might have called, uh, Israel, aka Jews, pig, like pig dogs or something like that. And it's like that really summed up how I felt. And then you had it was like either that or people would be posting donation posts without actually looking into them. And the hilarious thing is, like, anybody can set up a GoFundMe link, and that is why a lot of those early campaigns were fucking scams, and people would just be like, I am doing my part. I am reblogging, and I am feeling good about myself, and this is all I'm actually doing. And I am being angry and talking about this anger, and this is all I'm doing. And I'm just sitting here being like, this is it. This is your form of leftism. It's being angry on the internet and accidentally being also anti-Semitic, and also basically designating one form of minority as the one that's good and that you will fight for. And I've had to hold my tongue for a full on, honestly longer, because I've seen this shit with everything, like, on down the line. If it wasn't like throwing Jews under the bus with the Palestinian efforts, it was throwing non-binary people under the bus for trans rights, or throwing trans women under the bus because trans men. It was throwing bisexuals under the bus in favor of your sapphic ideals and your Achillean ideals. It was throwing... No, actually, I think people are fairly... Hilariously, I'm pretty sure... I'm trying to think if anybody was accidentally racist. But I think that's the one area where nobody was really crossing a line. Like, I think everybody gets or understands what makes you racist, at least. So I will give them that. I think. Though, now that I think about it, I feel like it's an American-centric kind of platform, so we conveniently ignore how there might be atrocities elsewhere. But, well, it's fair also, like, you can't care about everything everywhere all at once, too. So, if the majority of the platform is American, and we're talking about Americans, obviously we need to care about things that are extremely important if you have the energy to do so. But, like, I can also understand, like, if you're focused first and foremost on what's going on in America, if you yourself are American, and then you find out about this other important thing, and you're like, oh shit, I will devote some time and effort to that as well. But also I need to make sure that I'm not drowning. That's fine. Totally. So actually, I was thinking about all the times that I had seen posts that were like, why is nobody talking about this specific event? And it'd be like, one more event in a whole bunch of other events. Like, so, like, I don't know, it's like, on Tumblr, it's a very naive view of how politics work, I think. You're angry all the time, and you have to care about everything all the time, all at once. And you don't think critically, you just follow the anger and try to show other people that you're also angry. And you have no actual intent on following through with that anger. You know, I do just kind of feel like Tumblr is very performative and they're very naive and they're not very critical about stuff. So I am very much happy that I'm away from that. Blue Sky is, like I said, political, but it doesn't push you into also following politics. Like, obviously, if you're MAGA, like, you're kind of a dick either way, but like, they do like block and mute. The going culture is that you block and mute all the bigots, so that you can choke out the weeds, as it were, before they have a chance to grow. And it's a good idea because, like, the main thing is we're trying to prevent those voices from having an effective platform. And that is what you should be doing. Like, you have to deplatform those voices. You can't share space with them because that's what happened to Twitter. When you give leeway to those kinds of voices, they take up all the space. So you just have to deplatform them. But besides that, like, you're not shamed for not talking about things and for not reblogging things, and you're not shamed for not donating to people's GoFundMes. Like, I've seen people just wilding on Tumblr being like, of course you don't give to these GoFundMes. You don't fucking give to anybody. And I'm like, are you serious? We all complain about how fucking poor we are. Who has the money to give? You shame the furries off the platform. But, the main thing is, like, on Blue Sky, yeah, it's political. There will be political discussion, but it's done in a more adult, mature manner, where you talk about things, you don't shame people into following you. You talk about politics, and you do so very passionately. But there is no demands made of you. That you're not, like, shamed into reblogging something. You're not shamed into giving to GoFundMe. You're not shamed into going into a discussion that you're not ready for, that kind of thing. Like, it's leftist. You will get your news from there, but you only have to engage if you want to. And it's great. It really is. It's so much healthier. And I feel like it's so much more productive because, like, if you just have all this anger and all this finger pointing and shaming, then nobody wants to actually talk about anything. Nobody wants to do anything. It's all just like, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you. But if you have, like, these intelligent conversations, mature conversations about politics, actually talking about the issues, then that's how, you learn what those issues are, and that's how you begin to think about what you personally can do in order to give back and be a part of society. And that's honestly the way to go. Like, I really do wish that Tumblr people would just interact with the elders more. Because that's basically it. Like, Blue Sky has a lot of leftist elders, and I really do think that, you know, if you climbed out of that little weird bubble and just talked to people more, maybe we can get more shit done. Anyway, it is currently 10:25. I've been rambling on about politics for longer than I should, so let us get set up for that last sprint. Take a deep breath, let it out. We'll all need it because we just talked, you just listened to me rant about politics. Just shake it out. Clear your mind, close your eyes, let yourself rest for a bit. Center yourself. Think about your work in progress. Also, I kind of hope that I didn't scare anybody with that entire ramble and rant. It's just, I fucking hate it. Like, I should have left years ago, in other words. Granted, I didn't have a Blue Sky to run off to, but Tumblr, it's... Looking back on it, it's like, goddamn, I was so unhappy. It's so weird. But, yeah. Not scared. Leonka says, not scared, no, haha. High five. I hope that's not sarcasm, but yes, high five. Anyway. Hopefully we're all calm now. I'm feeling calmer now. Thank you for letting me rant about that. But in any case, we're all rested, we're all calm, ready. So, without further ado, good luck on the next sprint. This is our last sprint. 20 minutes on the clock. And here we go. And that is it. That is our last sprint. How did we do? Let's see, mine is 391 words. I'm going to continue writing just a little bit, but feel free to toss your progress into the chat. I'm kind of curious. Let me see. Here we go. For a grand total of 895, which is not bad. But how did you guys do? Companion Wolf says, I accomplished 0 because I got boss too close to the sun and started thinking, but today's total count was 1,131 collectively. That is still really good. I am proud of you on making so much progress. And honestly, you went hardcore on both those other sprints, so you deserve to rest. Leah Kit says, I managed 282, also very good. Shelly Riley says 193 in that time. Excellent. But yeah, excellent progress all around. I applaud everybody for the words that they have achieved. Hopefully you feel proud of yourselves, but feel free to tell me how you feel in chat. Companion Wolf says, never think ever, my best advice. I mean, thinking is nice once in a while, but like, don't go ride yourself hardcore, basically. Do what you can without burning yourself out. Companion Wolf says, I'm sleepy. In that case, yeah, I mean, at this point, I kind of feel like winding down too, and I've mentioned that I'm going to be waking up early anyway, so I think we should kind of like decompress, do our last bit of chat, and sign off for the night. So, first off, you go ahead and you get some rest. You know, it's always a pleasure seeing you, Companion Wolf, but for sure, get that rest, get some relaxation, get some sleep. Mia Kit says, I hopped around randomly. I was hoping to get this chapter done earlier this week, but it's been a bit of a mess. I'm a slow writer, I own that, but sometimes it feels like I'm going nowhere. I feel that. We got the same hat. But, you know, somebody gave me some really great advice recently when I realized I had to revise a shit ton of chapters and, like, this draft is nowhere near completion. And that's basically... And also, good night, Companion Wolf. Have a good night, and I will see you hopefully next week. And Companion Wolf says, slow words is better than zero word. Yes, that is very true. But also, the person who was giving me advice was basically saying, it will get done when it gets done. You should tell the story that you want to tell and don't worry too much about time. I think what she said specifically was I could actually go back and look, but I'm very tired right now myself. Basically speaking, it took J.R.R. Tolkien years and years to finally write The Lord of the Rings. So when you write slowly, like, ask yourself. Sorry, I just got a little work text. Cool. When you're writing slowly, you can always ask yourself, like, would you prefer to write The Lord of the Rings or some kind of, like, something less than what you want, in other words, to put it kindly. So, like, don't feel bad about taking forever. Though, on the other hand, I also get that feeling too, because some chapters just feel like they're coming out with all of the pain and effort of trying to pull out your own teeth with a pair of pliers. And if that is the case right now for you, I hope that you get a sudden strike of inspiration that makes you furiously write and get to the end of the chapter. But if it doesn't happen, you know, it's all about pacing, doing a little bit every day, and eventually that will add up to an actual chapter. Or at least so I keep on telling myself about this fucking chapter, which I'm pretty sure I've been working on for about 3 weeks now. Like it says, I just had dental work, so that is very relevant. First off, I am so sorry for making an accidentally relevant reference there. That is very painful. An accidentally relevant reference that is itself very painful is what I mean. Second off, yeah, this particular one is just complicated because there are about 11 billion things happening. It's one of those chapters. High energy, high activity, and oh god, why did it? You need an outline more than ever. I totally feel you. Like I said though, I hope that burst of inspiration and motivation just strikes you and you can knock out at least 10 billion billion things. Other than that, let's see. I mentioned this earlier in the stream, but just to reiterate, the schedule for this week. Obviously guaranteed Thursday and Friday. We're never missing those until I say otherwise. We're not even missing Thanksgiving. Let's go. I have no family in the area, and I have no plans whatsoever. So Thursday and Friday of this coming week are still going to be a thing. Saturday, I'm not fucking doing anything. As soon as I log off of work, I am going to crawl into bed and cry for a while. By which I mean I will probably be ordering Taco Bell and vegetating for hours on end. Sunday, I just really do want to take a break from being online and doing things in front of a computer. And I also want to take a break from running around the city at the same time. So I'm doing neither of those things. I am going to take my notebook and I am going to find a nice place to drink coffee for hours on end until I'm kicked out of a place and just write. If that has to be in a back quarter accidentally forgetting an establishment's 1 hour time limit, that's going to be a thing. But one way or another, I will find a place to just kind of like put pen to paper and scratch. I only have a few more pages left in my newest notebook, so it's really exciting too. Monday is a raid day. Tuesday, I have the appointment in the middle of the day, so like that surrounding work, I'm going to be wiped out. I'm not going to be doing anything that afternoon at all. So no stream. Wednesday, also raid day, so no stream. Thursday, Friday, so yeah, probably Thursday is going to be the next stream day. But that in mind, I am also coming to the end of a flurry of activity. It's been a hectic few weeks, couple weeks, I don't know. So we might actually have some special streams the following or next weekend. Keep an eye on Blue Sky for that. You know, I'll announce if I'm feeling up for a Saturday stream, Sunday stream, maybe, maybe not. We'll see. It's just that I have zero plans for either day, and given how much activity I've had for this entire month so far, how much stress I've been under and how much shenanigans I faced, I kind of want to keep it to I have no plans and just play it by ear and relax for a bit. So that is the current plan. Our next regular meeting then is again Thursday at 8 p.m., same time as usual. Then Friday at 8 p.m., same time as usual. Other than that, you know, thank you as always for coming. It's always great to hang out with you guys and chill, do writing, rant about the usuals. It's food, music, or politics. Food, music, politics, or nostalgia with me. You know how it is. But it's always a lot of fun to do these. I'm always happy to hang out with you guys and see who comes in to chat and to, you know, just chill for 3 hours. But that having been said, I'm not going to prolong this much more. Leonkit says, thanks, I hope so too. Brofist. Wishing you all the best of luck for this coming week. And I hope you and everybody else in the stream has a great week. And I will see you guys on Thursday. Take care. Happy writing for the rest of the week. I love y'all. And yeah, good night.